Like we actually create new forms of healing, whereas healers take what they hear and follow it, study it, and then apply it. We are the creators of healing techniques. So we bring in the new information, we bring in the new understandings of psychology, we bring in the new understandings of how to adapt into your environment, be it food, be it culture, be it how you interact with people in your conversations, all of it.
And how do the visions factor into that? Like when you're 5 and you say you have visions of people in your class, like what exactly is that? Like a vision? Like you see things?
Yeah, so like I'll give you an example of something that really affected me was this girl I used to play with in the playground. And one day I was holding her hands and I saw her hair coming out and she was coughing up blood. I screamed so loud, I couldn't stop screaming, that my teacher, Miss Serena, came out and grabbed me, brought me and her to the office, called my dad, called her parents. Her parents came in. They kept asking me, I was like shaking. They're asking me what I saw and I didn't want to say. So then finally my dad came, he's like, tell me what you saw. And I told him, oh, I see this girl's hair falling out. There's something sick in her body. She's getting sick. And the mom started crying. And my dad's like, what's wrong? And the mom said, oh, my daughter just got diagnosed with leukemia. And I saw I saw what's going to happen to her. So a lot of times like that are like, I saw a friend of mine, he was climbing this fence and I'm like, dude, you're going to fall off this fence. The spirits just showed me the possibility of what's going to happen. And I saw all the different possibilities. Don't go climb the fence. He's like, dude, I'm going to climb the fence and get that apple out of that tree. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't do it. And he did it and he fell off the tree and he started he hit his head so hard on the ground. He was like shaking. And literally the spirit spoke to me and said, go to his head and visualize this and say these words and it will stop. And so I just did it and it stopped. And he's like, how did you do that? And I was like, I don't know. I just did.
So once you do that at 5 or, a young child, like what happens? Like, are you freaked out at yourself? Are your parents freaked out? I mean, I guess because it was in your family.
Yeah. I mean, my father didn't want me to show a lot of it to the world. He wanted me to have a normal life. And I think, and it's funny because even when he passed away, he even said, I'm really sorry with like restraining you, because it was always like a double side of my dad. It was like, yes, you can, but you can't, because we don't want the world to think we're crazy and we don't think our family to be weird, So he was always about how people saw him from the outside. And he was so much wanting to clear that aspect of our life and our family heritage, where then he has a son who's going through all of those experiences. Plus I'm going through my own sexuality, like, being fluid, and I call myself soul sexual. All of that was coming up, and it was really challenging for him to be able to deal with that, because he wanted me to be what he wanted to mold me into to get me out of that. And I kept going deeper and deeper into it. And the more he tried to mold me, the deeper I went. So it was like finally he had to throw his hands up in the air and be like, okay, go ahead, but don't draw too much attention to yourself. And that didn't really help much.
It's like a typical child just rebelling against their parents with anything.
Yeah, I didn't even realize I was rebelling. It's just that my powers got stronger and I couldn't hold them back.